What's up, designers? My name is Designer Dustin, and my channel is going to be about a lot of Revit content, Revit and Dynamo. Dynamo crafts is probably going to be my main focus at first. I'll also do some Revit family stuff. Today, we are going to look at a graph that I had posted on LinkedIn and actually got a lot of encouragement to create this channel and make a video on this graph, so this is it. So this graph, it allows the user to copy selected parameters with their values and formulas from a placed instance of a nested family into the parent family, and then associate all of the nested family's parameters to the newly created parameters in the parent family. So today we're going to be working with a door family because I figure it's probably a good example. Usually your leaf family has a bunch of parameters in it, and you'll want all of these parameters to exist in your door family and then be associated to the parameters in the door family. So right now you can see I still have some that are associated just because I didn't take those out beforehand. But these ones that are black and not grayed out still need to be created in the parent family and associated. So you can see that they're not associated right now. So that's what this graph is going to do that we're going to make. Let's get right into it. Now that you know kind of what we're doing, let's go to Dynamo. There are some things that you're going to need in Dynamo. I'm not really going to dive into how to set Dynamo up. There are a lot of videos, and you can also find instructions on how to set Dynamo up in the Dynamo BIM form website, which I'll leave a link in the description for the BIM form website and for the Dynamo package manager website. So today, I don't know if you noticed already, but we're working in Revit 25, and the packages that you're going to need for this graph are Dynamo IronPython 2.7 and data shapes. So this is the Dynamo packages website, and I just searched for Dynamo Iron, and this is the one that you'll need. If I go back, this is what the website looks like when you first go to it, and then data shapes is right here, and you'll need the latest one for Revit 25. So there's your packages you need. Before we get it started, I'll tell you a little bit about this graph. I did use AI to write my Python code. I have been using AI to write Python code for a while now, and it's kind of taught me a lot about how to write Python. I just find it a lot faster to go to Claude, that's who I use, and give it a prompt and ask it, is this possible? Can we write this? And then as we're writing it, I'll find that it makes mistakes, and I'll be like, you forgot to import all of the necessary libraries or stuff like that. So although it feels kind of dirty to say that I'm using AI to write code, I do understand when the AI is wrong. So that is something that you can kind of learn on your own. I actually will be providing you the Python codes for this graph from my GitHub. So you won't have to go through that process. You're gonna basically get them without all the hard work. But just know in the future, if you're ever making graphs, you can use AI. Just be careful. It won't always work. It does take trial and error before you can get things to work. But let's get started then. So I got my example over here on my other screen that I'm going to follow along with. The first thing, we're going to want to select the nested family instance, and we're going to do that with some data shapes nodes. So first, you'll need the multiple input form. So get that one. One thing I'll say is, if this is your first time in Dynamo, it's really good to learn where stuff is, all the nodes are in this layout on the left. So like going to Revit and Elements and finding all of your nodes there, or List has a lot of them that you'll use. Sometimes you have some in string. And then if you scroll down, you got your add-ons, and that's where your packages will be. So I got data shapes. I have a couple other ones in here too, but the only one that you're gonna need is data shapes. The Dynamo Iron Python one kind of runs in the background, but it is necessary in order for data shapes to work, and your Python script nodes that we're gonna create. We got the multiple input form. For this first one, we're gonna need data shapes, then go to UI, input, and selection, and select model elements data. All right, we're gonna need a code block. So you can just double left click and you get a code block. I'm probably not gonna do too much typing. It's gonna be a lot of copy paste from my other window, just because I don't think you need to sit through me typing, but I'll explain what we're doing. So your first code block, you are going to need it to say this. This is basically the steps that the user is going to need to take. So I got number 1, click select. Number 2, select a place instance of a nested family in this parent family. Number 3, click continue. So that would be my input name. My button text is going to be select, and this is for selecting the instance, the nested family instance. And then we only want to select one element, so we want this to be true. So that's that. You connect this one to your inputs, and then we need to fill out some of these other inputs with another code block. I like to put a lot of things in one code block instead of making, I don't know, like 6 different code blocks with different things. It's just better to keep everything in the least amount of code blocks as possible. Sometimes it makes sense to split them up. Okay, so this next one, we're gonna do a description, and this is the UI window with the description for it. And what I do for all my UI windows is I put basically the title of the Dynamo graph as the description, so that as the user is working through, if there's multiple windows, they still know, hey, I'm still running this graph. I didn't start a new one or something, just so that if one window takes a little bit to load, it's like, oh, I'm still going through this graph, it's not done yet. All right, so this code block, here is the title of the graph. Create and associate parameters in a parent family. So I'll go to description. Our button is going to be continue. So button text, continue. The next one is true, goes to the toggle, and then these 2 numbers are for like the width of the window itself and then the width of the label. So this area. All right, and the next node we need is a sequence node. The sequence node is actually something that I learned from my manager just by looking at his graphs. SEQ, open bracket, 0, close bracket, semicolon. And you can use this in place of a list, inspect, get item at index. So basically what this is doing is saying, I want the item at index 0 for the list that is inputting into here. Instead of going, this is the list, and now I need a code block that says, 0. This is 2 nodes, that's 1. It just makes it easier. There are times when you do have to use the get item at index. And I don't actually know exactly when the time is. Usually it's trial and error. I'll be like, oh, the sequence one didn't work here. I got to use the other one. All right, so this is our first group. So I'm highlighting everything, coming over here to the eyedropper, creating the group. I don't ever use the descriptions. I just use the titles, and we'll call this select nested family instance. I like to use group styles too. So if you go up to Dynamo, preferences, go to visual settings, there's group styles, and feel free to leave in the comments if you use different group styles. I have them kind of set up for what each group of nodes kind of does. So like this first one is going to be like the input category. So I have input, filter, get, start. It's kind of just like an extra one. Extra, other, and set. So I'll kind of walk through when I use those. And you don't need to do this. This is just how to stay more organized. So you got group styles, and then to set the group style, you go to the group, right click on it, go to group style, and I'm going to make this one input. It's also going to make the text bigger because in my group style I have all my text set to 60 so that it's easier to read, especially in really big graphs where you're like, oh, you're way out here, there's 30 different groups, and you don't want to have to zoom all the way in to see what the text is or what the group is called all the time. So this is our first group. We'll keep going. I guess I could show you what this first group does. I'm gonna go ahead and run it. One thing, when I'm working Dynamo, I always set this to manual. I don't ever want it to be running constantly. I just want to run it when I'm ready. So we're gonna run it. Let's move this out of the way. So this is the window I was talking about. It's 500. I'm thinking pixels. I'm not really sure what the unit is. 500 wide, and then this is 300 wide. So here's our select button. Click select. I can click on the leaf, and then I can't click on anything else. And then you want the user to click continue. So that's all we got so far. And you'll see there's our leaf, our single window leaf. All right, get nested family parameters is going to be our next group. So we need to come to Revit, elements, element, and parameters. We're going to need 2 of these, so go ahead and click it twice. We're also going to need element type, element.element type, before we start stringing these all together. We'll go through it. We'll add some more nodes to the canvas. We're going to need a list join. So that's in list generate join. 2 of the list count. Well, since we're here, we're going to need 2 of the list cycle. I'm kind of laying things out similar to my example. I like to keep things pretty organized. Usually when I'm first starting the graph, things are pretty messy because I just don't know how it's going to be organized until kind of the end. And that's when I'll go clean things up. But since I know what it's going to look like, I'm putting in that order now. And we're going to need list count. So I believe that's inspect. Yep. 2 of the list counts. Okay. And then well, we'll just start with 1 because we're going to copy it. It's going to be a duplicate of the first one. To get a Python, I just left click for search, Python script node. So we're gonna title this Python script extract nested family parameters. The code for this is going to be in my GitHub, and I'll have that linked in the description so that you can go get it. We can start connecting some of these now. This row up here is going to get all of the instance parameters. So this is going to come here. And if you want to do multiple strings, you hold down Control while it's like this, and you can do more than one. So click there. I'm still holding down Control. Now I can do more than one string. So this will get the instance parameters for the instance that we picked, and this will get the type parameters. So if you feed it into the element type and then element parameters, you'll get the type parameters. And we're going to extract those parameters from the nested family. And so we're going to need to double click on this, click in the code, hold down Control, and type the letter A. That selects everything, and then just delete it. Then we'll go to my GitHub. And then my GitHub is Designer Dustin, Python for Dynamo is the folder. And the first one that we're going to need, extract nested family parameters. So I clicked on it, I'm here, I can click in the code, hold down Control and hit A, hold down Control, type C for copy, then we'll go back to Dynamo and just Control V to paste it in there. So don't click save and run, I would just click the save button. Editing me here. I forgot to mention some stuff about the code, so you're going to see that now. I have set up this code to exclude parameters that I can't do anything with, that are basically, they're in the family, but you can't really write to them, or you wouldn't want to. So I have all of the ones in generic models and mechanical equipment set in here already. Like I think system name was one that I added for the mechanical equipment family category. The rest are from generic model family category. I know in the door family category there's, I think, like frame material and analytical calculation. You're not going to want to write to those ever, so you could add those to the parameters that you exclude. Just figured I'd touch on that and then close this. Now we're going to need to duplicate this, so you can hold down Control and click on it and grab it to create another one. Now we can connect our nodes. For the list join, we're going to need 2, because we're going to join all of the instance parameters to list 0 and type parameters to list 1. Okay, we also need to create a true-false list of whether or not the parameter is an instance parameter. So that's what these list count and cycle are for. So if the parameter is an instance parameter, we want it to be matched with a true. If it's a type parameter, we want it to be matched with a false. So our first code block up here is going to be true. So that goes to our list and list cycle. And then our instance parameters are true. So the instance ones come to count and goes to amount. This list is also going to be 2. It's the true and the false. And it's important that you're following the same logic, like instance went to list 0 here, so list 0 here as well. And then type is list 1, so down here it'll be list 1. Another code block, this will be false. Don't forget to connect your nodes, like I did. Oh, it's right here. I forgot to connect this to here. All right, this group is finished. So select it all, eyedropper, and this group style is going to be a get for me because this whole group is getting something from the element. So getting the nested family parameters, creating a true-false list of whether or not the parameter is an instance parameter. Now we'll go to our next input group. All right, I'm just gonna collapse the list, go back to data shapes. We're gonna need another multiple input form. We're gonna need a input list view data node. We're going to need a code block to fill out these inputs. Not all of them, just the ones that we need. And it should say this. Select parameters to create and associate in the parent family. So we're going to give the user the ability to select the certain parameters that they want to create. So that's going to go to the input name. The keys, so you can either go to Revit elements and then element and go to name. But the easy way to do this is just put E dot capital N lowercase a m e. It's the same exact thing. You don't have to use another node. It's about condensing the amount of nodes that you use. So I like to do it like this and just put it in a code block instead of using the nodes. This will be the keys, and then your values are going to be your parameters. So it'll be these. Our instance and type parameters joined together in a list will be the values. And then this part's really important. You don't want it to sort the parameters, and you don't really care about it showing the ID. So hold down Control for multiple strings. And now we'll do another code block for the multiple input form. So again, it's just the title of the graph for the description. We actually want this, not to say continue, but accept. Okay, so that'll be accept for our button, true for the toggle. The inputs will be our parameters that get selected. We're gonna have a cancel button on this one, and then our widths and label width. Next, we're going to need to create a circuit. So that you can create a circuit node in a code block. A circuit node is it allows something to pass only when a certain thing is true. So to create that, we have open bracket, the word pass, lowercase, comma, null, close bracket, open bracket, lowercase I, close bracket, semicolon. And then enter, lowercase I, space, equals, space, state, space, question mark, space, 0, space, colon, space, 1, semicolon. And you can name this code block circuit. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. Most of the time I don't even name it. Our parameters will get passed if the graph doesn't get canceled, which I'll show you next. We're also going to need another sequence node, so rather than remake it, I'm just going to steal it from here, disconnect it, bring it over. And that'll be this output to the sequence. All right, this is our next group. Sorry if you can hear traffic outside. I live pretty close to a highway, so you can always hear the motorcycles going by. Alright, so the group style on this one is also going to be input for me, and I named it select parameters to create and associate in the parent family. Future me says, oh yeah, that would help. So the name of the parameters comes up to here too. It happens. This is my first YouTube video, so, you know, mistakes the first go around. Future videos will be better. So yeah, we need to have this pass through to our next step if the graph doesn't get canceled. So I kind of figured out a way to do this. It's probably not the best way, and I want to say I'm not an expert by any means. So if you are seeing things that you're like, why is he doing it like that? There's probably an easier way to do this, or, you know, just put it in the comments. I really do like learning this stuff, and if there are things that I'm doing that are slower than what you're used to, let me know so that I can get better. That's kind of what it's all about, getting better at things. So don't be afraid to tell me if I'm doing something not in the way that you would, but please be nice. The thing that I've created to get this run cancel to work, go to list, generate, join is what we want. And we need two. We're going to have was run to 0, was canceled to list 1. And we'll need a list all true. A boolean, which I can't remember where that is, so I'm just going to search it. Boolean set to true. I'm also going to search this one, filter by bool. So this will go to list, the mask will be true, and then a list any false. This is how I handle the was run and was canceled. If you know of a better way, let me know. So I usually make this its own group. And I call it run or cancel. And I like to set these as other pink. So then this bool goes up to the state. So basically, if it was run and wasn't canceled, this will provide a true and it'll let the graph continue. If it was run and was canceled, it'll provide a false and the graph will stop. All right, our next group is going to match the true and false values with the selected parameters. This is something that I figured out after kind of finishing the graph. I was like, why is this not working the way that I want it to work? And it was just because my list of parameters was not matching up with my true false values. So how to make that work? We're gonna need a code block, just a one. We're gonna need a couple list chops. So that'll be, I think, modify up 2 of these. Goes to lengths. A list insert. And the index is 1 as well. And we want this list to come here, and this one to come here. So it's the list of parameters and the list of the true false values, and it's going to match them up correctly based on the ones that get selected. So the next part of this group is another code block, 0. And in this instance, we do want to use the get item at index because the other way didn't work. Levels for our list, so click here, use levels. I want it to be a level 3. That's going to go here. The index is 0. And then we need an equals, so I always search for that. That goes to the X. The Y comes from our list of parameters that were selected by the user. Then we need another filter bool mask, so I'm just going to steal this one. This list goes there. This is the mask. Another 0 code block. And another get item at index. This time the level will be 1. So list, index, and this is its own group. Hey, don't forget to make these nodes longest. This one was supposed to be set to longest, so you right click on it, lacing longest. Also, list insert should be longest. I called it match true false values with selected parameters. And this is going to be a filter. All right, we only have 4 groups left, and then we'll be finished. All right, so the next one is going to be get parameter names, the spec type, and the group type, and then add them to the parent family. So for that, we will need a code block, so double click, and this is where I'm going to use that element name one. So E dot capital N and E semicolon. This is going to come to here. We're going to need a list flatten. It's probably in modify. Flatten. We're going to need parameter spec type and parameter group type. So we'll go to Revit, elements, parameter, spec type, and group type. So if you hold down Control, you can do multiples. We're going to need a forge type dot type ID node. I believe it's up here. Yeah, forge type ID. So 2 of those. Spec type to there, group type to there. We're going to need a wait for node, and we can create that with a code block. So open bracket, wait for, comma pass through, close bracket, open bracket, 1, close bracket, semicolon. So we want this to be the wait for, and we're going to pass through the true false values after. So it's really waiting for the parameters to be selected by the user, and then it'll pass through the true false values. The main node of this group is going to be another Python script. So we'll search for Python again. And we're going to need 4 inputs for this, so 0, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to title this Add Family Parameters. So spec type will be input 1, the group type input 2, and then if the parameter is it instance or not, that comes to input 3. This is also a very important step here is we're going to use some transaction end nodes. I found while building this graph, I'm not used to using transaction end nodes, but I kept getting errors where it said you're trying to run a transaction within a sub-transaction. So I did some experimenting, and I kind of knew there was a reason for the transaction end node. I just hadn't had the chance to use it yet. So you can get that. I believe it's in Revit, transaction, and then end. So we want our list go here, and this comes to input 0. So this is the next group. So we'll call this one get parameter name, spec type, and group type, and then add them to the parent family. I'm editing this, and I found out that we never added the Python code to this node. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Come back to your add family parameters node that I completely forgot about. Delete everything, go to my GitHub, Add family parameters. Select all, copy, paste, save and close. Now we'll go to our next group. And we're now going to move on to the get nested family parameter formulas and their values so that those can also be inserted into the parent family. And to do that, we'll need another wait for code block. I'm just going to copy that one, disconnect. And we need a family instance get family. So Revit elements family instance get family. And then family document. So family document. Let's make sure we're connecting our nodes this time so that we don't have another issue. The wait for input is going to come from here. And the pass through is going to come from the instance of the nested family. Now we need family document types. So that'll be an application under Revit, family document, and types. It's going to come down here. It'll be connected. We need a list sort. Oh, that'll be an organize, list, organize, sort. Then we need to go back to Revit. Application, family document. Get parameter value by name. This node is going to be longest, lacing longest. This input will use levels, level 2. List sort goes here. And family document comes from over here. The parameter name comes from this transaction end node way up here. So that's the reason why the transaction end node is kind of necessary. This is where I was getting errors because I just had it coming straight to it. I actually needed to end this transaction first before it could continue to this one. We also need family document get formula. And I do have a few parameters in the leaf that have formulas, and you'll notice them once I run the graph. There are some, as long as a parameter is not grayed out in the family. Sometimes when you add a formula, it does get grayed out, and it kind of makes sense if you really think about it. But there are times where you'll have a formula and a parameter and it doesn't get grayed out and you can associate to it. So we got family document, parameter name comes from the end transaction for that one too for get formula. And then we need 2 more transaction end nodes. So I'm just going to take this one, copy it over, disconnect, copy it again. So this, going to need another Python. And this will be called convert non-decimal values to integer. This is going to be in my GitHub. I figured out that it was giving me, I think, numbers or something like that. It was giving me a different type of output, and I needed it to be integer. So this Python script will do that for you. So we'll go ahead and delete all. We'll go to my GitHub and get it. And save and close it. You missed another node. Needs to be set to longest. This get formula also needs to be set to longest. This group is done. All right, 2 groups left, and we're done. I know this is kind of a long video. Hopefully in the future I will kind of speed things up. I'll be more organized too, so. Let's see, the next group is going to be set parent family parameter formulas and values. So we're going to need a document current. So application document current, family document by document, so connect these two. We need a family document set formula and set parameter value by name. We also need family document types. So this is going to be set to longest, the set formula one. The set parameter value by name will also be set to longest. The value will use levels, level 2. We can connect our family document to both of these. So to set formula, hold down control, set parameter. Oh, we can also put it to this one. This is going to be your types for your family type name. Our parameter is coming from right here. So this is going to go to 2 different places. It'll go up to your formula, hold down control, and to your set the value. All right, this group is done. And this is going to be my set category for my group style. I mean, the nodes that still have red. This transaction end for get formula comes up to the set formula one. And then this transaction known for the get the parameter value comes up to the set value. All right, we're on our last home stretch now. I did actually record this video last weekend as well, and I used Clipchamp and it was a disaster. And now I'm using a different software, so it should look better. I mean, I already like that I can see myself while I'm doing this in the lower right, and it didn't crash, which is great because Clipchamp crashed twice. And actually, I didn't record a few segments of the graph, so that was kind of a headache. this time, no problems. All right, so the last group is just 2 nodes, super easy, and the last node is another Python script, so you'll just be able to copy paste from my GitHub. So we're gonna need a wait, another wait. Let's copy this one. And I actually got this wait node from Jacob Small. So thank you, Jacob. He's on the Dynamo BIM forum. He knows a lot about Dynamo. If you've ever asked a question on Dynamo BIM forum, there's a good chance that he might have helped you and responded to your question. I like to keep all my strings nicely organized, so this is probably a little bit overkill, but I'm gonna switch these two, just swap them basically. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna copy this, cut it, paste it here, add a comma back, and then delete the comma here and add a 0 here. And you'll see they'll switch after I click out. And that's just me being extra organized. I probably didn't even need to do that, honestly. Because both of these are coming from here. But now you know how to do it. So the last node, Python script. So search for Python. I can already tell that after just talking out loud for a while, I am feeling a lot more comfortable than when I started recording. All right, this is called associate nested family parameters to parent family parameters. Kind of a long title, but that way you know what it does for the future. All right, we'll get this one from, actually, this one's gonna need 3 inputs, so 0, 1, 2, double click into it, Control A for everything, delete, go to the GitHub, and it is associate. Control A, copy, go back to Dynamo, paste it in there, save it, close. Input 1 and 2 come from here. And the last input, or input 0, comes from way over here. Select nested family instance right here. And this is the last group. So if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. I really hope that this graph is very beneficial to you and your firm. I'm going to be making more Dynamo videos like this. I have a bunch of ideas. I'm going to be walking through each of them probably in a similar manner, maybe a little more organized and quicker. So please subscribe, please comment, please share this with whoever you want to help each other out, to get the work done faster, you know? Just like I'm basically giving you guys this after I worked on it for like 2 weeks almost. So yeah, you're welcome. That's it. That's the graph. So now we'll run it, and I'll just go through quick I'm actually going to save the graph. It's on my other screen, but I'm just saving it. I'm going to close it and reopen it. It's Bob o'clock, 8:08. Just recapping one more time. I'm clicking on the leave edit type. These are all the parameters that we're going to bring into the parent family and have associated in the parent family. A few of these actually do have formulas. So you see them here. And then if I go to the family's parameters itself, they don't exist in here yet. So you'll see that those will come in. I'm now gonna just run the graph. Click select, click on the leaf, continue. Now I can select my parameters. So I'm gonna take every one of them that have the word door in them. I know that some of these I don't wanna write to and I don't really care about. They don't have anything in them, so I'm not gonna pick them. This bottom window one it's not related. It's not something that I would want to be brought into the parent family, so I'm not going to pick that one. I'm just going to pick all of the ones that say door. You notice that all of my parameters are always in caps lock, and that is on purpose for a couple of reasons. One, I don't like to turn caps lock off. I mean, in this industry, we do everything in caps, so just do it everywhere. And then also, you can tell which parameters are yours compared to the out-of-the-box Revit parameters because yours are in caps. Oh yeah, I don't need full glass. I just need all the door ones. So I got all the door ones. I'm gonna click accept, and then it's gonna be done. It's gonna load a little bit, but it'll be done. The fact that it is still spinning right now tells me that it's actually working. The first couple times I did it, it went right away, and that told me, oh, I forgot something, and it was the code in that one node. But while we're waiting, if you've made it this far, that's great. I'm glad. Hopefully this helps. Share this video with whoever you think it'll benefit. Feel free to comment. Tell me if I'm doing something that might take longer than the way that you would have done it. I like to learn, so yeah, be nice about it. There is a chance that you might meet me at Autodesk University, so you know, be nice. Not that anything would happen, I would be nice. I'll be there this year, and it has finished running, and now we will see. So I'm gonna go to family types, and look at that. Door swing angle came in. Door swing visibility came in. And then all of our door ones came in. They are gonna come in kind of like this. Like normally I would probably, I mean, they're in there now. That's the biggest thing. And you can see like this one had a formula, it came through. This one had a formula, it came through. I would probably sit and kind of organize these a little better afterwards. Like I'd probably put all the door ones down further and all this frame stuff up higher. And that's stuff that you're just gonna have to do. You know, it's a little extra work, but at least you didn't have to do all of this work, getting them all in there. So you see they're all in there. Now we're gonna verify that they're all associated. And look at that, they're all associated. So you didn't have to go in here, click here, go find it, and then set it. Like, I'll even show you that they're associated correctly. Door latch backset, door latch backset. Door rail width top, door rail width top. So it's all done in a matter of seconds rather than constantly having to do this. And you can use this on most families. I would assume you could use it on almost all of them. I've only used it now on the doors, generic models, and mechanical equipment. But I'm assuming you could probably use it on all of the categories. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next Dynamo Graph video. Thanks. Bye.